Hello, world. Welcome to the 287th climate change emergency protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I was going to do it outside, but every now and then, as you can tell by this weird looking cloud system that is coming this way but does not move, um, I don't want to get obliterated and be a dead climate change activist dying for my cause. Yay. But I'm doing it from the safety of the car, and this isn't too safe either. It's May 22nd, 2024. This is number 287 Climate Change Emergency Protest. Hello, world. So, right now, the United States has had 400 tornadoes this season so far. The average has been 200. Things are topsy turvy and craziness. Last night, or yesterday, Iowa had 18. The state of Iowa had 18 tornadoes. Several lives were lost, and yeah, it's a horrific event, and millions of dollars being lost on top of the lives being lost, and that doesn't factor into a lot of these issues. As far as I'm gonna put a black jacket on here so you guys can still see out, but I'm protecting the car door. Um, it's the lives are being lost, and it's millions of dollars at a time. And around the world, there's floods, tornadoes, wildfires, drought, hurricanes, you name it. We're getting it around the world in full force. 2023 had 28 events of $1 billion each. 28 separate events. The United States had $1 billion in damage for each of those events in 2023. Worldwide, there were 63 events worldwide that were $1 billion in damage. Antarctic sea ice right now is declining, and it's no wonder because the oceans are the hottest ever. Thwaites Glacier is in danger now. They don't know if it'll collapse, when it'll collapse, how soon it will collapse, but it is going to collapse. And that represents 2 feet of sea level rise when it happens. West Antarctica represents 10 feet of sea level rise, and the sea ice is a cork in the bottle. It holds back the glaciers, and you're having a warming ocean. And then with the warming ocean comes more waves because it's volatile down there. Then at that point, you have the tunneling. You have warm water going underneath the sea ice, and then you also have it lifting up the sea ice because it expands. Warmer water expands. So also around that area and around the world right now, the air is hotter than ever, in human history. So that you're getting a triple whammy almost, with everything. You get sea ice melting by way of tunneling underneath. You get the colder ocean water, which freezes at a higher, different temperature, a lower temperature, and you have the as opposed to the glacier water coming off. So you can have more water on top of the sea ice if it's splashing up and everything, as opposed to the fresh water coming down, which freezes at 32 degrees. The ocean water will freeze at 28 degrees under pressure, 31 degrees Fahrenheit normally, or 30 degrees, whatever it is. I'm sure you experts out there know that one. Carbon dioxide is the highest in 14 million years. 3 to 14 million years, the carbon dioxide is the highest level in that amount of time. So we're at 427, 428, 425 parts per million. Only 280 is safe. That's how you have a stable environment. It's the highest heat around the globe in 125,000 years at least. They aren't sure, but I suspect it's the highest heat in millions of years. The way we're going right now. Let's see here. Key West in Florida, the southernmost islands, experience 115 degrees real feel, and Tampa Bay is 108-degree real feel, and Miami is 112 degrees Fahrenheit real feel. Now, to top that, though, Central America is going through a total heat wave. Guatemala was 113 degrees in a certain place, and that's straight. That's straight temperature. That's not real feel. Mexico was 124 degrees. This is real temperature, not real feel. So, they're experiencing a severe drought down there, and the news doesn't cover it. Our ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox Television, they don't care. They're very racist. They don't cover brown people. They don't cover Palestine and the slaughter fest going on there. They'll cover from the Israeli perspective because they don't want to use Al Jazeera TV, and that would upset the Israeli lobby. So they don't want to use Al Jazeera TV, which is actually in Gaza. Then you can see the broadcasts on there. I recommend you go on to Al Jazeera TV on your on your internet, and you'll be okay. The end of the world isn't happening to find out more information. That's how it is. You read, you come up, you understand, you listen to other thought processes, broadcasts, evidence, things like that. It's not the end of the world, and it's not propaganda. Then at that point, you're being propagandized at ABC, NBC, CBS, horribly propagandized. If you go to international broadcasts and read international news articles, you'll see how bad things are here, that you don't know what's happening. You're being you're being told one story or a half a story or a quarter story with a bunch of lies in there, and you don't understand how bad either climate change is, or the Gaza situation is, or the lack of reporting, things like that. You really need to step out and check things out. And if you're doing it internationally, thank goodness. Tell us your thoughts on things, and where you go for news and information. The Atlantic Meridional overturning circulation, as well as other currents, I think, this is my theory, are slowing down. And what's happening is, like for Guatemala and Central America, and then the heat wave from India all the way around Southern Asia, around Vietnam and all, and up to Japan, are experiencing massive heat waves, as is the Mediterranean. I think the Eastern Mediterranean was extremely hot, that area. The United States has experienced these heat waves today. It's 90. It was pushing 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It's supposed to be 74 degrees. Right now, it's probably about 82, 85 because of the rain. But my theory is because the ocean currents are now slowing down, and what's happening with that then is that there's a stacking of heat between the tropics, and that's the main thrust and main focus of this heat. That it can't be dissipated as well. That it's not being transported away to the poles and things like that. So you're going to have a crazy amount of heat building up, and a lot of people in the equatorial regions, southern United States, and all don't realize it, but they're in severe jeopardy, and they're always worried about the immigration, the immigration. Oh my God, the people. You're going to be the climate change immigrants. You're seeing it now in the Midwest and southern regions with the tornadoes and what's coming for hurricanes. And you're seeing it now that they're climate change refugees. They don't realize it. They're not advocates for climate change in action, because they're being propagandized again by Fox Television, ABC, NBC, CBS, and they don't report about climate change and why this is happening. It's really sick what's happening in our country as far as lack of news. But you become uninformed and complacent, and this is what happens. You have access to the entire internet. You could go on the internet, type in news, worldwide news, and you'd get something or other. Go to different subjects and check it out. The International Criminal Court. This is gonna I'm gonna piss people off, of course. So the International Criminal Court, and it shouldn't piss people off. The piss off should be at the leaders of the world, not or the leaders of these two countries I'm about to mention, not at the fact that I'm talking about it. If you're afraid and upset that I'm talking about things, you got to reevaluate your thought process, because you can check out what I'm saying if you don't believe any of it. You can check out any evidence that I post on Facebook if you don't believe it. It's yeah, I have my opinion on things, and people think it's extreme, but they usually bear out pretty good. So the International Criminal Court, that's the world body that determines whether someone's a war criminal or not. Determining Netanyahu and his defense minister, Netanyahu and his Slaughterfest minister, have been guilty of war crimes and genocide and starvation and choking off people from water, fuel, living conditions, health with bombing the hospitals, education, destroying all the universities in Gaza, flattening the whole area of Gaza for the most part, except for Rafah. These guys are horrible monsters. They're just about the sick of sick that you can possibly imagine. This is not self-defense. This is straight up murder. This is a land grab, and it's an oil grab and resource grab, and so they can just expand into there and get whatever resources they can out of Gaza. This is they're going to move. They're going to get all these people out of there, the Palestinians, eventually, and till they can move in and just take over the whole thing. That's what's going on here. So they have a warrant out, or going to have a warrant out for their arrest. Please arrest them, throw them in jail, do whatever you need to do. Nuremberg trials come to mind. The Holocaust is being perpetrated now on the Palestinians, the very people that left Europe. These are Europeans basically in Israel. These aren't people that stayed in Israel, whatever. They moved down from Europe. They're mostly white people, if you notice. This is being perpetrated on the Palestinians who have been there for also 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years. They're all related to each other. The true Jewish people as well as the Palestinians are related to each other. But now you're dealing with Zionism, which is Israel. Okay, this is not anti-Semitism. This Biden guy, the president of the United States, is such a liar about stuff. No one's being attacked at universities. If they are, they're outside provocateurs hired by the police or the government or whatever to stir things up. The students have been peacefully protesting. The university presidents have been engaging with the police to commit brutality on their own students. All right, this has been peaceful. If I see a bunch of tents and I'm going to college and I don't agree with what they're doing, just go around it. Go to your class. No one's stopping you. Get on with your life. Stop being a namby-pamby. So there's a warrant out for their arrest going to be, hopefully, as I said, water, food, fuel, bombing, slaughter of civilians. 35,000 civilians, 35,800 have been murdered. Murdered. This is not self-defense. Murdered. And up to 55,000 or more or total have been buried alive and or buried dead that they haven't just found the bodies yet. 80,000 people have been wounded. If this was going here, we'd be up in arms, and or it was happening in white Europe somewhere, we'd be all upset and trying to help them out, just like supposedly in Ukraine and all that stuff, where we're trying to help. We got to help them out. Why? Why are we helping them? Maybe we provoked everything, and maybe Russia then did war crimes. Who knows? But the fact is we're involved there. We're trying to save those people. Whereas in Palestine, because they're brown, because they're not one of the white people in that area, they're not Israelis. Again, I'm talking Zionism and Israelis. Okay, this is not anti-Semitism. And if you look up Semitism, actually, who's a Semite and who's not, you'd be surprised. Look it up in the dictionary. Criminal court says that war crimes have been committed and genocide. Joe Biden, our wonderful president, who's up to his neck in weapon sales and giving weapons to them, and just issued $1 billion in additional weapons now. No one knows about it because the news isn't reporting it. Get a theme here. Issued $1 billion more in weapons to the Israelis to go slaughter more people. Of course, Joe Biden said, "There's no genocide being committed in Israel. I'm outraged at the International Criminal Court." You know what? You're your weird line that you draw between what is legal and what's not legal, and what's war crimes and what's not war crimes, is actually sickening. I can't stand to look at you on TV. It makes me want to throw up, because you the reason why you're engaged in saying that it's not a war crime is because you're involved in this genocide. You're giving these weapons to the Israelis to go slaughter civilians. It'd be like, okay, let me give an example. I'm in my house and my neighbor is a psychopath. Okay, that would be Israel. So my neighbor's a psychopath, goes around killing everyone in the neighborhood whenever they feel their life's threatened. They feel like they have the right to, because whatever reason, they just want to go into their house and just kill them all. Okay, so I, being a neighbor and liking the person next to me, or saying I will defend that person to the end of the earth, I go to Walmart and buy him guns, buy him ammunition, buy him bombs, buy him whatever he needs to go slaughter more people. Now, when the war crimes trial comes up for my neighbor, am I not as guilty as he is? Shouldn't I be arrested as well? That happens in our country now, that parents are being arrested if their kids go nuts, and go kill kids in other high schools. So, as a neighbor who's supplying weapons and money and stuff to my neighbor to go kill my other neighbors, aren't I guilty? Shouldn't I be arrested? Joe Biden. All right. So I would him saying that there's no genocide in Gaza being committed. Total lie. Total out to lunch. He should be thrown out of office immediately. But the people that would do it are the Congress, the United States, the Republicans and Democrats, and they're wholeheartedly behind them as well. There are very few, I mean, a tiny, minuscule 5 people maybe, that don't think this is a war crime, what's going on, and are willing to do something about it to a certain extent. But they don't want to upset their fellow compatriots in the Congress by actually shutting down Congress and not doing anything. Same with climate change. I love Sheldon Whitehouse from Rhode Island or Connecticut, where the hell he's from. talks about climate change, he doesn't shut down the Congress. He should just, if you believe that the security of the United States is involved, you should shut down the Congress and not allow any bills to get through until they tackle climate change. Make your point to the American public as to why they should be shut down. So I would expect nothing from psychopathic people. You know, our senator from Pennsylvania now has turned hard right wing, guy that wears a sweatshirt all the time. You know, I would expect nothing less from them in saying this is not a genocide. This is where we are. Our Congress, our politicians have been bought, sold, and are sinister and committing crimes right now in front of our eyes, and everyone keeps voting the two parties. I don't understand it. So, in my opinion, you know, all should be arrested. Weapons, bombs, you name it, for doing everything what they've done. I talked about the neighbor situation. They don't deserve to be in representing us in Washington D.C. anymore. They're no longer humans. They're no longer in favor of humanity. You got climate change. You got genocide. What more do you need? I mean, there's other issues. No, this country does not give medical coverage for anyone. You have to go buy your own, basically. There's what else you have? Not a fair living wage. 7.25 is the national wage around here. 7.25 an hour. That's poverty. You can't live on that stuff. You can't live on $15 an hour. You might be able to live on $30 an hour and survive. So the people in Congress and the presidency and everything, and I'm including Trump on this too, they've lost their humanity. They don't believe in people. They don't take care of people. They don't believe in the planet. They're not taking care of the planet. You can say what you will, and I've posted over and over again evidence as to why there's an ecocide going on. So they don't believe in people. They don't believe in planet, and they don't believe in peace because they're spending so much money on war. There's no money for anything else, so they say. But they can come up with billions of dollars all of a sudden for war. So 1 trillion is our military budget in this country, basically. So $1 trillion. You know, you could do such wondrous things here and also around the world if you use that $1 trillion or half of the $1 trillion for anything. We still have a huge army, you know, and all the weapons you could want. So tonight, Jill Stein for the Green Party, she's running for president, and I know she can't win. You keep saying the reason why she can't win is because you guys won't vote for her. You're staying with these two psychopaths that are running for president, and the third one, Kennedy, as well, with his policies. These people are nuts. Their policies are insane. They're going to start World War III. They're going to cause a massive genocide, as they're causing now, and they're causing a massive ecocide. The only person that's got their head screwed on right is Jill Stein from the Green Party. She's running for president, and she shares all the values of a sane person would. Okay, she's not a politician. She's a person. She's a human being. Get it? So tonight she's going to be on YouTube tonight at 7 p.m. and you can catch that once it's recorded. It's with George Galloway, who's with mother of all talk shows, Moats they call it. And that'll be at 7 o'clock. Don't forget about the. I'm going to switch the. I can't switch the camera around. Shoot. Well, anyways, this is going to be backwards for you, I think, because I got the camera facing the other way. So this is my catastrophe level, and this is where we're headed right now, and this is what we're in right now. We're at 1.6 degrees. Catastrophe level is 64. We're technically going to rifle through 2 degrees Celsius, and catastrophe level will be 1,024. So it goes up very, very fast, and after 2 degrees, bets are off whether we survive or not, and how bad things get as far as feedback loops. So I'll catch you next week. That'll be number 289. Looks like the clouds lifted, thankfully. And thanks for hanging in there. See you later.